this word dance medicine before? இதுக்கு முன்ன டான்ஸ் மெடிசன்ற வார்த்தையை கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? கிடையாது. ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் மெடிசனே நம்ம நாட்டில் இப்போ தான் கேட்கணும். அதனால டான்ஸ் மெடிசன் புதுசாக வேற ஒன்று சேர்த்தோம்னா இட்ஸ் a bit difficult. But I feel it has to be a specialization in this country for the benefit of dancers and the dancing community. So dance medicine has injury prevention and management as the main component, and I am a sports physician. I had to design this area of dance medicine. I'm going to talk about it, how that will be beneficial to dancers. Next slide. I have to define dance medicine. How do we define dance medicine when I am not a dancer? I have never danced before, but my whole work with dancers began maybe about 20 years ago in Delhi, when I had to work with Leela Samson. And most of the dancers at that time never used to train for dance. Rather, they took dance as the only thing. They will not train separately. Dance panna podu. There is nothing else required beyond it. So at that time, she had asked me to train the dancers, her students in Delhi. That's when I started to work with dancers and understood their requirements, because there's totally a different field. And at that time, because of her insistence, there were people in her school trying to do the perennial training. The training will happen throughout the year, otherwise it will not happen at all. A medical specialization, I call this as a medical specialization so that the dance gets its actual importance that it should have. I'm not even calling it just a specialization. It should be a super medical specialization that would deal with scientific exercise prescription or intervention. When you say intervention, we intervene into the life of the person through exercise. So we call it as a exercise prescription or intervention to maximize dance performance. If there is a 100 meters champion as Usain Bolt, how to make his performance superior and maintain it there for a prolonged period of time. At least Usain Bolt will run only the 100 meters or 200 meters. Here the dancer has to do so many things that they have sometimes never done before because of the choreography. So the changes are being made repetitively or occasionally, for which they are not prepared, they are expected to do. To maximize dance performance by optimizing the training. So what is training I will talk later, but we will understand optimizing the training program, returning to dance at the earliest if they have injuries. No dancer wants to lie back on the bed and say, okay, I'm injured, I don't want to dance anymore. Or when I will dance, and that's a big question. So the first thing I hear from any dancer or a sportsman is that, when can I dance? Can I continue to practice? If I continue to practice, will the pain become worse? In how many days will I be able to do this? All this just when they are consulting me and they have a severe pain and they don't want to stop. So I realized there's the earliest return, like any sportsman, they demand. And we have to return them at the earliest. Not that return after 2 years, 3 years now. They want to be dancing yesterday. So the problem is that in case of injury, it can be injury. In case of illness, I've had an illness, and still it can be illness because of a viral fever, the muscles have become weak, and still they want to perform. Or surgery, some of them have undergone a surgery for whatever reason, and they are very unsure whether they can get back to dancing the way they were doing before. By warmth, what do we mean by warm up? Anybody? Any dancer? What do you mean by warm up?
Shake off all your tensions.
That's a good one.
Do some exercises.
Great. Sweat it out. Yes. Just do the stretches. Okay. Okay. To start the energy in the body. Please remember, when you are seated like this to listen to a lecture like mine, whether you like it or not, that it's pushed on you. But still, what I want to mention is that when you are starting to warm up, the central circulation, blood in the central circulation is moved into the peripheral circulation. For that, we require a warm-up. That's why we say don't mix yoga and exercise, because yoga works on the neuroimmunoendocrine system, not on the musculoskeletal system. Whereas the dancers require the musculoskeletal system work, so we have to shift the blood from the central circulation into the periphery, to the feet, to the arms, to the legs, all the muscle groups. Only 15% of the blood supply goes during your resting period, but when you exercise, 85% of the blood supply goes to the muscles. You understand? And nearly 60,000 miles of capillaries open up in the body. How much? 60,000 miles. That means they are normally closed when you are like this. The minute you start to move continuously using the large muscle groups, what will be the number of capillaries that will open up? To a tune of nearly 60,000 miles. You understand? Around the equator, twice and more. That much is the distance that you are able to travel within you when you start the warm-up. So don't think warm-up is not required. It's like a city traffic getting congested and flyovers suddenly pop up in all directions and everyone can move to their own destinations without any problem. That is the advantage of a warm-up. So you have a proper oxygen supply and the muscle temperature is adequate for a jump, turn, twist, whatever movements that you do. So training for the performance, most of them when they are training for the performance, there is no adequate time. They are keen about performing. Oh, 1 month train panna poduma. We can do this program. Huh? What is this 1 month time is sufficient to do this program? It is not possible. Because you think this choreography is done, she already has enough movement resources, we can plan. But unfortunately, for any kind of movement to be learned, do you know how many times we have to repeat it? 10,000 times. 10,000 times. For one movement to be learned, how many times you have to do it? In 1 month, it is not possible to perfect the movement. So the perfection will not be there. You can also perform. You understand? For any player who goes to the Olympics or a World Cup or any international competition or any worthwhile level of performance, they have to put in a critical time of 10,000 training hours. And if you calculate the number of hours that you have put in as a dancer, can you calculate on your own? Please do. How many are dancers here, professionals who are still dancing? If you calculate the number of hours to get what you have today, see the number of hours that you have put in. Phenomenally high. And it takes that much time for you to learn. So when you choreograph something new, it requires a lot of effort to practice that and visualize it. Even if you don't practice, you have to visualize the movements. Then you can bypass the cerebrum and push it into the cerebellum. You don't need the 10,000 repetitions. You can do it in one go also. So you use sports psychology, so I call it as dance psychology here. Periodization. What is periodization? Periodization is when you have a scientific planning of your program. Suppose you have, okay, this is season for dancers in Chennai. From December to January, you will have at least 5 to 6 programs minimum if they are very keen on performing or they have the opportunity to perform. But it's like running 100-meter finals, and within 1 month you will be running 5 main competitions. That's the way the body looks at. It is not a dance you finished the same way that Usain Bolt has to run 5 competitions in that 1 month. It's a lot of strain. So preparing them and scientifically bringing that together requires effort. It is not only the performance, but maintaining the performance for 1 month. That's going to be difficult. That's why I said this is going to be a lot of work to be done. Periodization. Talent or training. A lot of people think if you go on training, that is enough. Some people feel, or a lot of people feel rather, ma avalukku talent irukuma, nanna adra, she will come up. What do you think is the truth?
Okay? Is there a genetic predisposition for dancing? How many of you have your parents who have been dancing regularly, who have come from a background of dancers? So today, the Darwinian theory, Charles Darwin, said genes control biology doesn't hold good. It is the environment that comes into contact, and that makes the alteration in the genetic manifestation, not just the genetic manifestation or genetic predisposition. Sorry. So the genetic predisposition is only one aspect, but there is much more than the genes that needs to be brought out, and that is done by the environment. That is because of your training and a constant thought process of what you want to be and where you want to be, how you want to be. That's your decision. It is not possible for anyone to stop you, but unfortunately it is your own mind that blocks you. That's your decision. I feel it is more of training. None of the players have got there by their talent. They have to work for it. If you take even Usain Bolt or Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal or anybody, they have put that 10,000 hours critical time of training. No pain, no gain. This is a common thing, right? In dance also, a lot of dancers feel, Valikuma, you have to dance. I have also danced like that. And I am still having pain. Dance adna vali illam eppadi irukum. How can it be without pain? No, you have to have pain. And weight gain, parvala, you can manage. So what? I have also gained. That's the last thing to look upon is to allow the body composition to alter, where your muscle mass is lost and fat mass is increased. You understand? So your muscle mass is lost and fat mass is increased, the last thing to happen. If you are going to have 6 kg of fat, that fat can let you travel for 1,500 kilometers. What is the distance that you can run? Run. How much? 6 kg of fat. All of us should think we'll have more than 6 kg in our body. That means we are capable of running 1,500 km. So if you want to reduce so much, you require 1,500 kilometers of run. People ask, no, Doctor, can I reduce this punch? No, I'm so fat, you have to help me, you know the exercise. Yeah, I can know the exercise, but you won't do it. New skills prior to performance. When do we teach new things to them? Learning is a very important thing to happen in a dance, and you're going to choreograph or change movements 2 days before the dance. You're asking for trouble. Because for it to be programmed in, it should take minimum 15 days. But a lot of alterations are made 2 days or the day before. Adjust pannipamma. She will manage. She will manage. Where? We are talking about generally. We're not talking about one individual. So ensure that any changes are made 15 days prior to that and brought into practice.